Bub, 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 bub. Show. Hey, Matt. How are you
Hey,
doing
how's it
today?
going?
Matt, we got to tell
Yes.
people. This isn't the same show they were expecting.
No, it's completely different. I look down and the name is different. What's up with
Totally
this?
different.
What's up with this?
The show was Lunduke and Whatnot with Matt. Good name. Good name. However, the show is predominantly about Linux, and it didn't actually have the word Linux anywhere in the name of the show, which could be construed as a mistake on our part when we came up with the name. So what we've done is technically same show. This is episode 5 of the same show. We just renamed the show to Linux and Whatnot because we talk about Linux and Whatnot with Lunduke and Hartley because our last names are cool and are in parentheses. The critical thing here, because my favorite part of the old name was the parentheses bit. I just like having the names in parentheses. I think that's adorable. So now I'm all excited because we kept the parentheses, and now there's even more words in the parentheses. So it's pretty amazing. Today's show is cool. We've got YouTubers. Tubers, people from the tube. They have the blue tube, and they're up on the tubes, and they make the video for the tubes, and that's pretty cool. And they're all Linuxy tube ones. So hop into that in just a moment. But first, this right here is a link to my thing over on the Patreon. That's where people pay me to do, I don't know, stuff. I guess these sorts of things, books and stuff. That sort of thing. Oh, before we do your link,
Yes.
we got to do your link too. I've got a new book coming.
Oh, you do?
My book's
right
so
on.
okay. So
Yeah, let's hear
for
about
those
this.
of you who follow my writing shenanigans, I have the hardest time, and I think a lot of writers are the same way, finishing a book. I've had a couple of books that have been sitting at that like 80-90% point for a long time, and it's not like I couldn't come up with an ending. I just couldn't quite finish it how I wanted it. But finally, I have a book that has actually completely finished, and I'm super stoked about that. So I did a children's book called Linux for Hank like 3 years ago.
Yes, it was about
Yeah.
3.
Two or three, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just finished a follow-up that is simply called The Story of Linux. And it's the complete, quote-unquote, story of Linux for little kids. So if you want
That's
to
awesome.
indoctrinate your children
Right?
while
And who
they
doesn't
are,
want to do that?
while they're infants with poetry and child-appropriate, like, fancy black and white funky artwork, that's the book for you. So anyway, I just wanted to say that that's coming out next week sometime. Next week's the 25th anniversary of Linux, and so I'm timing it with that. It's like
Nice.
Linux's 25th birthday. We get the story of Linux that you can read to your children, because sometimes reading Goodnight Moon will slowly drive a parent to madness, whereas this at least has references to cool things. There's actually a line in there that references Multics, which no one even remembers what Multics is, but people's children will know what Multics is if they read them this book, and that's a very important thing. Matt, do you have a link that you would like people to know about?
FreedomPenguin.com.
It's over there. It's a very fancy link. FreedomPenguin.com is cool because of all the cool words on it.
That's right. There's
I like
words
that
and
about
pictures.
it.
I do have pictures.
You have pictures now? Oh,
Always have
dog.
pictures.
You guys are getting so seriously new century. Very, very cool. Future is now. All right.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
I think I'm ready.
You ready for a show?
Yes. Yeah. I'm ready.
Everybody hold your pants. Matthew, over
Yes.
the last 4 amazing and historic episodes of this redonkulous show we've done, we've had very important people on that do very important work.
Yes, sir.
Today is entirely different. Today, we are going to talk to people who make lots of videos on the YouTubes. We're going
right.
right? So we're talking to YouTubers.
Yes.
Luckily, we got 3 of the rather cooler of the YouTubers that focus on Linuxy stuff or have focused on Linuxy stuff in the past, and we're just going to talk to them. First of all, we're talking to one of my favorite men, and he's one of my favorite men because of his t-shirt right now. Jordan Keys, say hello to the entire internet, Jordan, and tell everyone what you are. Tell everyone.
Hello, Internet. My name is Jordan Keys, as he said. Let's
He
see. I've
did.
been making videos on the internet since 2009. I actually started out making Linux-related content for about 2 years, actually largely inspired by Bryan and his former Joe. So thank you for
Wow.
that. So inspired in such a way that
By the
I
way, you
I
did that
liked.
correctly. You referenced the former show without
Oh,
saying the
brother.
former show's name. That
Oh,
was
right.
perfect.
Jeez. Oh, jeez.
Silence,
But
Matt.
yeah,
Now, seriously, only in 2009. For some reason, it feels like you've been around forever. Like,
yeah,
it
I'm
just
super
feels like
old.
forever. I mean, I guess that is 7 years, but still, it feels like it was longer than that.
Yeah.
But wild, wild. So you for a long time you had This Week in Linux was was like your big thing, and you do a lot more gadgety stuff and whatnot now, which we can get
Yeah.
into later. What's your YouTube channel name? So people have
It's
it.
actually my name, Jordan Keys.
That's
Spelled
amazing.
Keyes, which is awkward.
That is awkward. Oh
Yeah.
well, we're gonna move on from that because it's awkward. Joe,
Hi
Joe,
there.
tell everyone who you are and why you are friggin' amazing.
Well, thank you for calling me amazing, Brian.
No, no,
First
no, no.
off,
I want to be clear about this. I did not say you were amazing. I invited you to tell people why you are.
oh, I see. I do a YouTube channel that these days is devoted almost 100% to Linux. It's just Joe Collins, and along with that, I have a little project going called Easy Linux, which is I offer to give people support installing Linux on their machines and try to help them get started and get a good experience with Linux.
That's nice of you, man.
Yeah, that is cool.
You're doing the good work, fighting the good fight.
I try to, yes.
Fantastic.
And that's it.
That's it?
That's all I'm going to say
You know
for
what?
now.
That's enough for now. We got to leave a little bit for later. AJ, you're up, my good man. Why are you even more amazing than Joe? We don't have your audio, AJ. We don't have your audio.
That is pretty amazing.
I mean, that was stellarly amazing. Now, I should point out,
It's like mic drop, right?
so the very first year is tangentially related. While AJ is working on figuring out why we can't hear him, that I recorded my stupid little Linux sucks series. I couldn't get anything working. Literally nothing working. The video out on the projector didn't work.
Never does.
Nothing worked at all. And it was so wonderful because then it allowed everyone to make fun of how nothing works under Linux. And I'm assuming AJ's running Linux right now, and his audio is simply non-functional. AJ, keep going. Keep working on it, my man. And when it's working again, say something, and we'll come back to you, and you can introduce yourself. Even if it's the middle of the show, I think that's okay for this episode. All right. He's giving the thumbs up. Cool. We're good to go. All right. Well, let's turn this back to Joe and Jordan then. So, I'm going to toss this over. Are you trying to provide technical support during this show, Matt? Okay, I'll be quiet about that. Joe, how long have you been doing this? So you haven't been around quite as long as the Jordan Keys and whatnot, right? You've been around for what, like 2 years, 3 years?
I've been doing it seriously on YouTube for about 2 years now.
About 2 years. That's when I kind of remembered first seeing you. All right.
I first started working with I first started playing around with Linux mid 2000s. And
Mid-2000s.
yeah, mid 2000s, but didn't do much with it on YouTube. My YouTube channel used to be devoted to other things, and I changed the focus of the channel when I started the Easy Linux webpage and the Easy Linux project, and so that's how that started.
About, and I'm going to save Jordan for the second follow-up to this for obvious reasons. As you've been spending the last like 2 years YouTubing the hell out of Linux, right?
Mm-hmm.
How has that been for you in terms of gaining an audience? Like, have you noticed that it's relatively easy to gain followers, to make videos that go big, or do you find it more challenging because you're developing content for that niche Linux audience?
Well, before I was doing that, I was doing audio. I was doing videos about audio for people that were into analog audio.
So you came from a niche.
Yeah, turntables, things like that. And when I started posting the Linux videos, it just took off. It was like I didn't have to really push it. I just put up the content and people came to it. So it was, I just kept at it. I was like, okay, people want this. I'm going to keep going with it and keep going with it. And that's what I do. I just try and put up as much useful content as I can and just keep it going. I don't try for hits as far as videos are concerned. I mean, I'm not sitting there going, well, I mean, I do, but I don't sit there and like, grade the videos and go, okay, well, I'm going to do this one just to get hits. I mean, I try and have something to talk about.
Just to get hits, but come on. You want those hits. Let's pull this over to Jordan.
Of course I do, Brian.
Let's pull this over to Jordan.
Just trying to say I try and put some good content in there is all.
All right. Enough with your good contenting. Jordan, my good man.
Hi.
You have most definitely, of the people here, the most followers on the YouTubes by a good margin. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember how many it is, but it's quite a lot. You kind of exploded at some point. What happened? What is it? I mean, you're adorable. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you.
You're super cutie pie. But I mean, I've been following you forever. But I noticed one day it went from you were this cool guy that we all knew were making cool videos about Linux stuff to all of a sudden a bajillion people follow you. What did that? What caused you to go from little guy like me and Matt and Joe and AJ to Jordan friggin' Keys in terms of those numbers? What caused that?
I hate to say it, but in large part just normal promotion and marketing, working with other larger YouTubers to do giveaways and whatnot. In the first year, making videos on my own channel, like Joe was saying earlier, he noticed a lot of the following based on the Linux content. Yeah. I gained about 10,000 subscribers in that first year. Before I switched over to my second channel, the one that I'm on now, I had amassed about 30,000 almost subscribers, and the channel was doing very well, but then there were some YouTube monetary problems. My channel got attacked. I lost all monetization as a result. Yeah. And so I kept making the content anyway because I loved making it. And then, I hate to say it, but the unfortunate thing happened. My day job switched. I went from doing Windows support to doing like Linux server admin work, and that killed a lot of my passion. When you're doing it all day, every day, fighting fires.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You come home and it's like, oh look, I'm gonna do tutorials.
The same thing you were doing during the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kept making the videos, and then over time it was like, well, you know what? I've been doing all these product reviews at the same time, just things that I'm purchasing. Occasionally, people would send me something to review. I got the opportunity after, I think it was in 2012, and Multi-Channel Network came to me and said, if you'll create a new channel, we can make you a YouTube partner again. We can get you back into this with monetization and everything, and you can just get a fresh start. You'd tell your former subscribers, here's what I'm doing, and that's what happened. So July 4th, 2012, the new channel, which was actually called Twill.tv, was born. It's since changed to Jordan Keys, my name, just blah, blah, blah. There's ways to do that because I already had that affiliated name from my email address, from having a Google Plus profile, which somehow has like 900,000 followers. Thanks, Google.
Holy cow!
Wow.
No one uses Google Plus, mind you. Yeah, right?
No, exactly. When Google Plus first started, Google reached out to me because I was working for XDA and said, we want to verify the XDA account. How do we do that? And I said, well, I don't own it, but you're more than welcome to reach out to so-and-so, and you can verify me if you want. And they did. And then they added me to their technology suggested user list alongside the CEO of Motorola and Marquez Brownlee and a bunch of other gigantic people in the tech world. So I went from 3,000 followers on Google Plus to 900,000 within like 3 months.
Yeah, and I saw that. And
that didn't actually help the YouTube stuff.
This much jealous, just a little bit. Like not like a lot jealous, but
those people are mostly spam accounts and people that don't actually use Google Plus.
Yeah, so, that's been my experience. Yeah. I got about 100 people that care. So.
But it's such a big number, though.
It's very impressive when you show it to companies. They're just like, holy crap, 900,000? What, 9,000? Yes.
Right, you are a social media maven, my friend.
Apparently, But it wasn't until I moved over to the new channel and I started interacting with some other YouTubers, some other people with larger followings. They said, hey, we do these monthly giveaways. Would you mind joining in on them? So people like Max Lee, ZitoMax, he's got, I think, 300,000 subscribers now. He invited me to one of his earlier giveaways with like 6 other people. Every person in that list puts out a video saying, we're doing a giveaway. All you got to do is subscribe to our channels.
Holy moly.
And then you give away a $50 phone, a $100 phone, a $500 phone, whatever you've got. I gave away an NVIDIA Shield. I've given away a couple of budget smartphones. I've done 3 or 4 of them now, and each time you gain between 5,000 to 10,000 subscribers, which for me is significant.
Now I have a question. I have an old Motorola Razr. I'm really excited to give away. Now it doesn't have a back battery. I think the battery is actually like bloated and exploding. But I would love to give that away. Does that work, or do I need to actually have something more compelling?
It might need to be a little more compelling, but you could for like historical purposes.
You could autograph it.
I
could autograph it. Yes, I probably need to get something
video out mentioning it. Yeah. Someone would say, "Send it to me. I want it." And more likely than not, it would be somebody from India because that's where most of the "please give it to me" comments I get come from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. I do a daily video channel on my now second YouTube channel. I had a camera that died on me recently, and I got probably a dozen comments of people saying, "Send that to me. Send it to me. I'll fix it. I'll take it." And it's like,
wow.
Let's see if I can fix it first. Calm down. Until that time, I move over to a different camera.
Goodness. That works. Cool. Yeah.
I have a dead camera. I should give away my dead camera.
There's always somebody that'll want it.
Yes.
So back to Joe momentarily. Where do you go with this? So you've got a lot of really cool videos up, right? There's cool tutorials, there's reviewy type stuff, there's cool content on your channel right now. Where does it go from here? When you sit down, do you have like a 5-year plan for your YouTubiness, for your channel, for where you want all this to go? Is there a plan for that, or are you just kind of having fun at this point?
I try and keep it to the point where I'm having fun. I don't want to turn it into a business. If I turn it into a business, then I'm going to get to a place where I'm not going to like to do it. I worked in radio and television for 20 years, and I mean that's where I'm drawing that from. And by the time I left radio and television, I was really burnt out on it. So I actually don't want to turn this into my full-time job, because if I do, then I'm going to burn out on it. And so the YouTube videos are really just a means to an end for me. It's just to get the message out there. It's more about message. It's more about promoting the Easy Linux project, getting me a little bit of freelance work, and just try and keep it rolling. I really try not to have a plan, because I don't really know where it's going to go, and wherever it goes is fine with me. I'm just being honest. That's the truth.
You got to ride the wave sometimes, right? You got to hop on the surfboard, see where the hell that wave takes you.
Exactly. Mike's, this is not the first time around for me for doing webcasting and YouTube. And the first time around, we had a plan. We had a business plan. Me and my partner, we used to do a weekly technology-based webcast. Used to bust our butts on it and research it and do videos and lots of production and all that stuff. And it bombed. It just went nowhere. This is working, and I'm going to keep doing what works. So that's kind of my attitude.
So now you're not doing it with the goal of it being your full-time job, but are you honestly telling me that if some big company comes to you right now and said, "Here's a small truckload of money, do this as your full-time thing, you don't have to worry about having another job," you'd say no?
No, I wouldn't say no, but I'd say, how many people do I get to hire?
Oh. Okay. Delegate. Smart.
Yeah, when I worked in radio and television, I was operations manager. I ran radio and television stations.
Right.
And I know that I'm not trying to conquer the world on my own. I can't do it, and I'm not going to do it.
You're not trying to pull a
if they
Jordan
came
Peterson.
along,
I gotcha.
if they came along, it would be, okay, so what kind of infrastructure are you offering me?
Yeah. That's smart. Yeah, that makes sense, because then you're future-proofing yourself. You're ensuring that you can have some longevity, avoid burnout, and if you need to take a vacation, hey, you can. You got people who can take care of it. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, honestly, and this is going to sound like weird, but I can walk away from this at any time.
No, I understand.
If something else comes along, I can just do a video and go say, "Hey, gang, I got me a new gig.
Yeah.
I'm interested in something else." That doesn't mean the videos will end, but you might see fewer videos, but this way I can manage it.
Right. I did something like that here recently, so I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Whoops.
I think all of us.
What did you do, Matt?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I totally get it. Sometimes you just need to move on. Totally.
There's an old saying: if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
So true.
And I completely disagree with that.
Really?
I say if you love what you do, never make it your full-time job because you will very soon hate it.
Yeah.
I've had that happen far too many times.
Yeah. There is something to that. So like when did I start podcasting?
Oh, let's see. I weren't cavemen and reels a thing?
Yeah.
It was a long time
I don't know,
ago.
2006?
I would say 2005, 4?
Somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
I was doing it then. You were watching that?
Yes, sir.
Oh dear, those were some crazy times. And I was terrible at it, right? I was just terrible at it back then. And within probably 1 or 2 years, the notion got in my head. This is going to be my job. I'm going to make this my friggin' job. I can do this. I can get advertisers. It'll be amazing. And that's when things did start to tank a little bit. But since then, once I kind of got over that of, okay, maybe this isn't my job, I'm just in this world, then podcasting and videos became a great avenue for, just like Joe was saying earlier, getting me other work. Because I did all the podcasting, the videos, then I got the chance to write for Network World, which in turn got me a chance to write for a bunch of other outlets. So it's like all kind of my job, but yet all not my job at the same time. And I kind of want to keep it that nebulous because I'm afraid if one of them is my job, I'm going to resent it within a week. And then I'm just going to want to hurl my laptop out the window out of frustration and anger.
I just, let me just put this in there. I started in radio when I was 15. I was going to high school and taking vocational school, so my school was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and not getting home until 5 o'clock in the afternoon when everybody else was hanging out and having a good time in high school.
Yeah.
And I worked in that industry for 20 years. That was all I wanted to do when I was a kid. I just wanted to be on the radio. Please let me go press the buttons and make the noise and be super jock.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, I burned out. No matter how much you really love something, you will burn out.
That terrifies me personally. I think that's part of what keeps me from pulling the trigger on anything full time. It's not just the ADD shirt that I'm wearing. That is actually
commitment
true as well.
problems, Matt.
I do. Not maritally, but yeah, as far as professionally speaking, I really do. I have a hard time finding a thing that I can really just drill in because I am afraid of burning out. I have burned out. I burned out of a couple things. I got my start at Locker Gnome, and that worked out really well for a while. Then that kind of went wooey, and I'm a little gun shy, so I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly why I'm in the position I'm in right now. I make videos. I make probably 10 to 15 videos per week.
Yeah, you do.
But my day job is programming, and the company that I work for is so uber laid back. They're like, create these things for us, and other than that, do whatever you want to do.
Nice.
So I have a solid, steady day job that supports myself and the family. And then anything I do on YouTube, any money that I earn from that, any time I spend on it, that's all self-contained. That's the small business. And that's the way I love it. So if there's anything that comes out of that, like I get to go to certain events or I'm sent certain devices, that's all contained. That's not out of the family's pocket.
Right.
That's cool.
It's like your side hobby where you restore custom motorcycles and you earn a few bucks from it, but really it's just so you can go to the auto show. So where do you see this going for yourself? Realistically, you've come a long ways in the last however many years. Where does this go from here? Does it just stay contained in this nice little box that Pandora never gets out of it and it just stays there? Or at some point is this going to explode, ooze all over the rest of your entire life again and basically completely take over? Where's it go?
Moving forward, I hopefully see the channel continuing to grow at a normal rate, possibly even a faster rate if I start doing more giveaways. But the worry that I do have, and I'm not going to say this too loud, my wife's not home. My wife has decided she wants to make videos as well. Right. And that's where things become difficult because she doesn't know how to edit video. She doesn't know how anything on the YouTubes work other than just commenting.
Right.
So the videos that she's made so far, I have done all the work on. I've helped her come up with the outline and the lighting and the cameras and the editing so when it bleeds over from I'm doing the work to I'm doing the work for myself and for her and possibly for our son and maybe the baby when he gets older, and that's when it becomes a second full-time job.
Yeah. Goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
That's tough.
That is tough. My daughter watches a lot of like the gamer videos, like basically the people that play Minecraft and talk about it and whatnot, and she is just enamored with some of these folks, and some of them put on really great shows. Some of them put together really highly polished productions that they clearly put.
My kids do the same thing. Yeah. Yep.
She loves it. Was it Stampy Longnose and a bunch of other YouTubers that are just huge. They have these 1 million followers plus, and they're gigantic. And my daughter looks at this and she's like, you know what? I could play Minecraft while I chat about it.
Right on.
Yeah. And I have to tell her, I'm like, yes, you absolutely can. But that sounds like so much work for me. And I want to I want to support her, and I want to encourage her to express her creativity and get involved in a community like that. That's fantastic. These people seem supportive and nice and great. And I'm afraid of if she does it once or twice and gets bitten by that bug of seeing that her video got a couple hundred views and some people liked it and commented nicely on it, that she's going to want to do a lot more. And then I'm going to have to be editing videos for my daughter every week. And as it is, I record this show in such a way that I don't even really have to edit it. Like, that's how astoundingly lazy I am. And so the idea of my family doing it is absolutely terrifying but wonderful, and I don't know how I feel about that.
See, that's where you do it once or twice to get them bitten by the bug, to get them into it, get them their own channel and whatnot, and then you teach them how to edit. You say, okay, before you go any farther, this is what you have to do. This is what Daddy does. Now you do it, and if you want to keep doing it, cool.
Very
Open
cool.
shot. Open shot.
Open shot and KDN Live, you're good to go.
Yep, exactly.
So okay, let's deviate from this, just back to the Linuxy side of things a little bit. So, Jordan, you don't do a whole lot of Linux-centric videos anymore. You're more gadgety nowadays because of the whole Bernie outy, too much Linuxy and for one man thing. I totally get that. When you were doing that, did you actually edit under Linux, or did you edit everything elsewhere?
No, everything was on Linux the entire time I was doing Linux-related content, and actually even into the time that I was doing gadget stuff. So once I started the new channel, it was all still on Linux.
Nice.
What did you use? What did you use to edit? KDN Live?
Yeah. Actually, even when I had problems with it, when there were some bugs with it, one of the developers got in touch with me and said, I can help you fix this bug. Just give me this and give me that. And went back and forth and got it fixed, got a bug pushed through and everything. That was great. Except it did take away from productivity.
Yeah.
While I was on Linux, everything I did was Linux, top to bottom. At this point, actually, my day job provided me with a MacBook Pro, a very extremely powerful, like $3,000 laptop.
Wow. Okay.
iMovie is free. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it does enough for the grand majority of people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, instead of making fun of you, I'm going to go back over to Joe momentarily.
Thank you.
Joe, what are you using right now? What do you use to edit? What do you use to record?
I do everything 100% Linux.
Of course you do.
And I do a simple screen recorder to capture video, and when I do edit, I use KDN Live.
That's the exact same setup I've got going on here. Simple screen recorder, KDN Live.
I have got this set up to a place where I can sit down in front of any computer in this house and plug a microphone in and start recording and do a video. I can do it from any machine. I don't edit them. I do them live. I used to, when I first started doing YouTube videos, do a lot of heavy editing on videos, and I realized that people didn't care. And so now, I mean, it's all about content, right? It's all about, most of the time, what my people tell me is, I listen to your videos and I only watch if you point out something on the screen. So why should I sit here for 3.5 hours and do graphics and music and stuff under it? Because I suck at video editing anyway. I'm much better at audio editing, and so it's like I just start it and start doing it. I don't edit anything.
That's fair. That's lazy, and I appreciate that a great deal. I mean, hell, so we do the same thing here. We record this show, And then we've got the video, goes up on YouTube, and immediately, as soon as we started this show, the comments began rolling in. Where can I get an audio-only podcast feed for this? I'm like, well, that's work for me, so I'm probably not going to do it. And I thought about doing it, and then I didn't do it. And then I looked over at Matt, and Matt's like, I can just do this. So then he hopped in and does it, which really scratches my laziness itch very, very well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's amazing. People really... I don't know if it's a Linux community thing or if it's a broader whole internet audience thing, but people really like the audio only content. And like, even though I produce this up on YouTube and it's for YouTube and video first, people really want the audio content. And it just seems like if we didn't provide that, people would have a small nuclear meltdown. I don't.
Well, it's weird. It's like my experience with it, this show anyway, has been they don't really they want the video to be there, but they don't necessarily want to watch it. They want to listen.
Exactly.
But they want to know it's there. But, it's like, okay, hey, that's cool. I'll make the audio thing happen. Here you go. It's in the show notes. Have at it. Whatever.
Yeah. So. Now Jordan's probably in a little different place because Jordan does a lot of gadgety stuff, and you want to look at the gadgety stuff. You don't want to just hear someone describe the gadgety stuff. That's ridiculous. You want to see it. Yeah. Jordan, back when you were doing like Linux videos where you showed like screens of things, did you get people wanting it to be a podcast, or were people just happy with it being a video?
Occasionally I had the people that would mention in the comments, this should definitely be an audio podcast, but for the most part, the stuff that I was covering, it was tutorials where I would actually be demonstrating something while describing it, or reviews where I would be showing things inside of the distributions while describing them. So what I was doing didn't really lend itself well to audio only.
It didn't. Right. Yeah, it made sense to be video. Honestly, I think this makes sense to be video because we are gorgeous.
During a discussion.
But you want to look at us, right?
Right.
Hey, I want to tell you, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I almost said no because there was a camera involved here.
Well, that's what most people say when they're like, "Oh wait, I gotta look at him talking about me." It's like, no, they don't want to see me. They want to hear me.
Yeah. All right. AJ, is your audio totally bogered, man?
Yeah, really, man. Yes. I want to talk to you.
I know.
Now, I have had KDE audio problems in the past. Those of you that watched me on previous shows probably remember some of those misadventures. That might be what's going on. I mean, I think he's troubleshooted or whatever, everything he could possibly think of. Pulse audio, volume controls, because the built-in volume controls in any distro are crap.
Total crap.
They just are, at least as far as moving stuff back and forth. Nothing's muted. Even after rebooting, nothing. We got a little bubble popping up.
I think it's fantastic that
he's been so patient about it, though.
That we're doing a video series where we're all talking about Linux and Linux YouTubers, and we spend a significant portion of the episode itself troubleshooting all of our garbage. That is ridiculous. And I'm going to hear about using the word garbage just there, even though that just slipped out.
Oh no, Linux audio is, in my opinion, is not that great. Not because it's a bad thing; it's the layers.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. So when I record this here, I pipe everything through Jack, and then use the simple screen recorder, so I can record from my microphone as well as record the output coming into me from the Hangouts we've got going on right now, and so that works out pretty well. Matt and Joe, are you guys going through Jack right now, or do you guys fuddle through Pulse and ALSA and all that?
Oh, I literally pulse it myself. I'm just lazy. I don't care. It sounds the same. Yeah, I mean, because you can set the latency, any latency issue. You just there's a setting for that. Who cares?
I'll tell you what I do exactly. I went out and I bought a good microphone, and I plugged the microphone into the computer, and whatever program, you can select that input. I just pipe it directly in, and I don't mess with it. Mixing it or anything or setting levels, nothing. I'd plug it in, start talking. I bought the microphone to be able to do that, and there you go.
What kind of microphone do you use?
I'm using it's a CADU37.
Okay, cool.
So this is what it looks like.
Beautiful. Cool. Super beautiful. How about you, Jordan? What are you recording with?
For my normal videos, this microphone that's overhead.
Nice.
I use I will turn you now.
Okay.
Hey, can you hear me now?
There's a Panasonic G7 camera here with a ring light around it.
Yeah.
The camcorder overhead for the second angle. Here's the stuff you're looking at type. Yeah.
Okay.
For what I'm doing
You
at
got
the
one
moment.
of those cool circle lights. Those are
the Diva ring light.
That's pretty hardcore, man.
That is
All
really
right.
hardcore.
I have built up over the years.
It's fantastic. I am literally, I got a, what is this, a Blue Yeti. That's what I record
I've
with.
got the Yeti on the
Blue
shelf
Yeti.
over there. I'm using the Audio-Technica AT2020 right now. There was a bundle, something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty decent mic, and I like the way it looks.
It does look cool, doesn't it?
Does look cool.
Yeah, I used to have this big Shure looking mic. Yes, that's a nice one. I had one of those old looking Shures that looked like they came out of a 1950s like
That's cool, though.
ragtime band.
Yeah.
The audio was not good because it picked up like everything in the room, and then I just never had a quiet enough room. All right, AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
I am so proud of you, my man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's
Well,
see
it's
how
kind of
long
like Matt said, the multiple layers of audio.
It literally took you less than half an hour to get audio working under Linux. Good job.
Hey, what can I say?
All right, AJ, introduce yourself to the entire world.
Okay, so now that it's taken me a half hour to get my audio working, AJ Reissig, I've got both website, ajreissig.com, and then my YouTube channel. Just it's listed under my name, AJ Reissig. I do OS reviews, software reviews, and tutorials, all Linux.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Occasional hardware stuff, that sort of thing.
How long have you been making videos for the YouTubes?
Oh, we're going on 3 years now.
3 years. 3 years. How's that gone? When you look back over the last 3 years, what do you feel about it? What's your emotion?
You know, when I go back and look at the first year's videos, I'm embarrassed to put my name on them.
Yeah.
But,
I'm not nodding in agreement that your videos were terrible. I just have the same feeling about mine. Yeah, those first couple of years, they were bad.
Yeah, and you know, the first year it was real slow growing the channel, and then really it took off maybe midway through the second year.
Nice. And where it's going right now, and you've put together some pretty good videos. And where do you see it going over the next couple of years? I mean, you're gonna keep at it and just see what the hell happens? Are you gonna turn it into a business? Are you gonna run away from it screaming? What do you want to do?
You know, I'm happy with it right now, in that it's growing, slowly growing, but it's growing. You know, it's one of those things where it's a hobby that pays for itself through ad revenue. I don't see it ever becoming full time, especially with you know what my regular job's willing to pay me.
Right.
But you know, just continuing with you know the same stuff I've been working on. Probably I'm looking to do more tutorials than I've done in the past. For a while, I really focused on doing the OS reviews, and not that I don't enjoy doing those, but lately I've really enjoyed doing the tutorials.
What is it that you think, aside from what you want to do, what is it you think that the Linux audience wants? What do you think Linux people are wanting to go to YouTube or any sort of video site for and watch videos of? What do you see as the most successful of the videos that you put out, I guess, is another way of looking at it?
Well, kind of looking at my total views, the OS reviews, they get, well, let me back that up. The OS reviews, if it is a well-known distro, those get a lot of hits.
You mean if you do an Ubuntu review?
Exact, or even, you know, like when I've done, you know, OpenSUSE or Fedora, you know, any of your bigger names, they get a lot of hits. The little, you know, less known, they don't get a whole lot of hits. Usually those, it's my subscribers only that are getting those.
Right. So Joe, kind of the same over to you. What do you see as people actually want? What are people clamoring for? I mean, what are the topics that, and the types of videos that people
show me
want?
how to use this. Show me how to use this. How does
like
this work?
Tutorial kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
I think they want that more than anything. I think they want the training and they want the demonstration. Because what will happen is when you do the distro reviews, the people who watch the distro reviews are people who are already in the community. Whereas if you do the tutorials, then you're going to get two types of viewers. One is the guy who already knows what you're talking about and wants to pick it apart. And the other one is the guy who goes, yeah, I'd heard about how to do that. Thank you for breaking that down. I think I can actually do this myself. So those are the people I focus on, are the people who are going, thank you for taking the time to explain that. I didn't know what any of this was about. And I tend to ignore the people in the Linux community.
Nice. Very nice. That's okay. I think most of the people in the Linux
in a
community
good way.
People in the Linux
I don't mean that bad. I just mean, really, I sometimes wonder why. I wonder why somebody feels it necessary to basically echo everything I said in the video and write 4 paragraphs in a comment. I was like, okay, go ahead.
That sort of thing just happens all across YouTube, though. I mean,
that's YouTube, Reddit.
That's just YouTube. I mean, if someone can make a video about Dolly Parton, and down in the comments will be a 3-page synopsis of the video about Dolly Parton, it's kind of redunculous. So all 3 of you guys, and then me and Matt, I mean, we're all kind of Linuxy dudes, right?
Yeah, I think so.
When you go hop on the YouTubes, what are you looking for? I'll ask Jordan of this first. Jordan, do you watch other YouTube channels? Do you subscribe to other YouTube channels? And are any of them Linux related?
I subscribe. Last time I looked, it was somewhere in the 200s. I was subscribed to so many channels.
Wow.
So many that it was a problem. So I had to unsubscribe from a bunch. However, as with a bunch of other tech people in the YouTube community, I don't watch an awful lot of tech or Linux, specifically YouTube. I watch an awful lot of daily vlogs. I watch a lot of comedy, a lot of skateboarding. I say with a broken foot because I tried to skateboard. Yeah. I watch things that entertain me. I watch things to stimulate me in a different way. If I want to see something tech related, I'm going to create it myself.
That's kind of fair. I feel bad. I'm kind of in the same boat. I sit down and I create the content, and there's a few like podcasters and YouTubers that I like and I check in on, and I will occasionally like consume a couple of their videos, but it's very rare that I actually follow any of them and actually consume them. Like there's there's SciShow and a few other things that I will always be watching, but on the tech side I really don't. What about you guys? I mean, Matt, are you out there actually consuming this stuff?
I actually watch almost nothing but non-tech videos, with a couple of exceptions. I did used to watch this thing, some guy with a Muppet, and like he interviewed folks, and I don't know what happened to that guy. But anyway, there's that fella, and then that's really about it. Well, no, I take that back. I do watch tutorial videos, mostly because I want to make sure, one, that I've got a good approach to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And obviously the folks here I'm watching, and that's usually where I get my content from. Honestly, everybody I have in my subscriber list are the folks that I watch, but I don't watch every single video. I'm usually pretty nitpicky about which ones I do.
You hit the topic you're interested in.
Yeah, Joe did one here recently to where he was kind of honestly venting some of the feelings that I've had in the past, and actually I watched that one. And then
that was a good video.
That was a very good video. Yeah,
Thank you.
And then AJ did one here recently with Sousa that I really wanted to get a feel for, because it's, it's interesting to get different viewpoints on different stuff, because I had some problems getting audio codecs to work, and so I thought I would watch that and kind of see what he had going on. And I'm looking forward to AJ's video on Linux audio that I'm sure will be coming out here shortly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. So AJ, Joe, to you guys, what do you guys watch? I mean, do you guys actually watch any of this content, or are you just creating it?
I watch it. I follow several people, and but the people that I follow are the ones that are the most plugged into what's going on.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Who do you follow? Who do you subscribe to that people might be interested in?
Recommendations, even.
Yeah. I mean, from the.
I'm almost. I'm almost reluctant to say.
Okay.
Oh no! Now you got it, man. Now you have.
And that's okay. There's no wrong answer.
Okay. All right. Look, I follow Jupiter.
Sure.
Because they generate twice weekly content.
Right.
I disagree with about 90% of what I hear.
But they got the consistency you want. Okay.
It's the news.
Sure.
The news, what's going on with the news. I follow you, Brian, always have. And a few other people that don't. There's a guy over in England, Sneaky Linux, who does some great Linux tutorials.
Great.
But one guy I really want to give props to, who is kind of set the model for what I do, is a fellow named Jay LaCroix, who's in Detroit, and he's written a lot of really good books about Linux.
Okay.
And he kind of does the same thing that I do, and Jay's awesome.
Nice.
Right
What about you, AJ?
There's this guy called Joe Collins that I follow.
Thank you.
Actually, there's in my subscriber list, I've got, I don't know, probably about 30 or so YouTubers that I follow, and kind of like Brian was saying, I don't follow every or watch every one of their videos. I kind of go through the subscriber list, see what what's interesting, that sort of thing. And kind of going back to the Jupiter comment, I used to watch that more often.
Sure.
There were some hosts that I used to watch all the time that aren't
Good
there
looking
anymore.
guys.
I know, but same here.
Yeah. But,
Good looking guys. No doubt.
But
Absolutely.
And actually, they are, they are in my subscribe list. But
Sure.
Once again, I don't watch every video, and I'm kind of like I'm with that same way with all the channels. There's nobody that I watch everything they put out.
Right. Of course. Who does, right? I mean, yeah. Unless you're watching our show, then obviously. But,
Right. I mean, this. Yeah. Right.
Clearly.
Right. So, before I will give you guys all, if there's any things that you guys want to talk about, we can talk about them. But I have one final kind of question for the three of you. Well-known, super fancy pants Linuxy YouTubers. Starting with you, AJ.
Okay.
What distro are you running right now?
Right now, I am OpenSUSE Tumbleweed KDE.
Nice answer, my friend.
And that's what I've got on the desktop. My laptop is OpenSUSE Leap XFCE.
Really?
Right
Rocking the leap. Very nice. So this video is being recorded on Tumbleweed, which is the OpenSUSE rolling release, and I'm using Mate? Yeah, I'm using Mate as the desktop environment. Yeah. Yep. How about you, Joe?
This video is being recorded on Linux Mint 17.3 on a cool Core Duo Dell Inspiron 1750. I have two
model of Dell you're running.
I know you don't.
Or just about the operating system. Yeah.
Wait a minute, and I've got another machine that's running Ubuntu Mate 1604, and the other one runs Linux Mint 17.3.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You clearly did not hear Ike Doherty's words about the security concerns of Linux Mint in the previous episode we recorded.
You know what? You know what my comment on that is?
What's your comment?
That's great.
This is a good time to air it out. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
And for 80% of the desktop users out there, it's probably good enough. And I'm going to get flamed for that. But, the entire Linux community wants to come after Mint. And I'm not saying that Mint is perfect and doesn't have problems. But Mint is a damn good gateway distro to get people into this. And if they run it 6 months and then decide, well, I don't want to do this and do something else, fine. But it's like all this negativity thrown at Mint doesn't help. It's like, that's my thing, is to try and get people into Linux. And I focus totally on the easy-to-use distros. And
totally bad.
Some people in the Linux community, they act like they don't want people to have easy to use Linux distros. They don't want that, and they just poop all over it.
Yeah, I poop on that. I'm a pooper. but that's what I do. The reason I call that out, so last episode, for those who haven't watched it, there were some choice words about Linux Mint, yada, yada. So I reached out to the head of the Linux Mint project to see if he wanted to come on the show. He was a little nervous, a little shy, a little bashful, but he's a very nice guy, and we talked about it a little bit. And since someone was running Linux Mint on a whole bunch of machines, I felt like in this episode someone had to say something nice about Linux Mint, just to make it even and fair. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for doing that.
I'm glad I could do that for the Linux Mint community.
Well,
it's all on you, man.
To kind of add on to what Joe said, I agree that it's a real good distro for the new users and to get somebody started. Myself, I think there's a few things that just drive the more advanced user up the wall. And not going into details right now, but for a new user, or if you're setting it up for grandma or your kids, and you don't want to have to deal with it all the time. Once it's set up, you're probably good to go for a while.
So let me just say this, Clem, if you're watching this, the head of Linux Mint, if you want to come on and let you speak for Linux Mint and not other people, go ahead and get a hold of me. Jordan, all right, you've got your MacBook, and I did not make fun of you.
You came back full circle.
I did not. I'm going to point this out, and I'm not going to, because everyone knows how I feel about that. Yeah. However, Linux mostly in the day job, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you running? What are you running?
Less. It's just Linux.
Which version servers?
12.
Yeah, nice.
I think we've still got a few 11 servers out there. Here at home, I've got a couple of Ubuntu servers for little things, but for the most part, all the work stuff, it's SLES, and then we've got some Amazon stuff that's Ubuntu, I think.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
Dude, this warms my friggin' cockles. We've got five people producing content on this show, and 3 of us are rocking the Sousa stuff. That's just delightful to me right now. That's just right here. You guys, so much more.
Totally got it in a VM, but yeah, I'm actually doing
shut up, Matt. You don't care.
Nobody cares what I think.
No one totally cares.
Why am I here? Yeah.
All right. The very, 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 very last thing, unless you guys want to chime in. Have any of you guys ever done any work with Richard Stallman? And the reason I ask this, I've done a number of videos with Richard Stallman over the last year or so. I've done a couple videos, and he is very adamantly opposed to YouTube, in part because of some of the non-free software that is in use on the YouTube site in order to allow people to play back YouTube videos. It's a fair objection to make, especially if you're an open sourcey, Linux-y, free software guy, right? But it does make it very hard to reach the masses. So my question for the likes of you, the 3 of you lovely gentlemen, and Matt, is one, does that bother you? Does that give you pause that we, including myself, we're publishing these videos about Linux, about free software, about open source and related technologies to a platform that in and of itself isn't free software? And if it does cause you pause, can you think of an alternative to the situation where you can move away from YouTube but still gain that large audience? Matt, you're kind of chomping at the bit, so I'll let you have it.
Yeah, I mean, so there's 2 approaches that really work. First of all, I respect the fact that he's not beating around the bush. He's saying, look, I feel this way, this is how it is.
No, Richard does not beat around the bush.
No, and I really respect that. You don't have to agree with him, but you can certainly respect his view. I think if we were going to actually go that way with something like that, it would come down to 2 possibilities. The first possibility is you do the channel like you're doing it now, and it just stays as it is. And then you literally do a second channel where basically it's used as an alert tool to then go to like archive.org or something like that that's got free hosting. You can put content up and you can get it from there. And then see what sticks. Unfortunately, by doing that, what's going to happen is you're going to find that people are just going to keep using YouTube. Yeah. That's the problem, is you're dealing with human nature, and human nature is a double-edged sword, and I think that's the problem there. So philosophically, I applaud him, but I think from a practical point of view, I don't think it can work yet. There's not enough pain point. There has to be some pain. Bring the pain.
Joe, AJ, Jordan.
Okay, I'll jump in here. First of all, I have a great deal of respect for Richard Stallman, and one of the reasons that I am passionate about
I feel
Linux
a
is
butt
because
coming on.
well, it's not. No, I'm not going to do a but.
Okay.
But no, actually, I mean, it was Richard Stallman in Revolution OS that really what he said and the story that he told in that really lit the fire. And because I had maintained Windows servers and radio and television stations and automation systems. We're talking very specialized, very proprietary software. I had run into exactly the same things that he talks about the frustrations of why can't I change this? Why can't I do this? So when I found out about that, I was like, yeah. But then I think he carries it to a point where he's actually hurting himself and hurting the cause because he's pushing it so hard. It's like, whoa, slow down. It's like there's got to be a little pragmatism in here somewhere. And unfortunately, the world we live in is YouTube runs on proprietary software, but it is the best avenue to get the word out about open source software.
Right.
So it's like just like Matt said, what are you going to do for an alternative? How are you going to steer people to an alternative when they're already plugged into this venue? And so therefore, that's my attitude on it. It's just like we got to be pragmatic about this. It's like somebody who comes along and people have told me, because I always recommend to my clients and people on YouTube, install Google Chrome, because you're going to need this if you want to watch Netflix. And then I actually have people who come back to me and say, how could you tell people to install that piece of proprietary garbage on their computer? And it's like, well, if I don't tell them that, then they're going to walk completely away and they're going to go fire up their Windows machine and they're going to use it on that. Do you really, we're trying to get them in here. That's the only way to do it. I mean, remove obstacles and say, yes, you can do this. If you say to somebody,
Yes,
you ought to use this machine, you know what I mean, but you can't do half the crap that you need to do, what good is that? So that's my attitude on it.
It's a fair attitude. AJ, so same basic thing. If you weren't on YouTube, where would you be? Like, what would you do?
I probably wouldn't be doing this because, just to put it point blunt, I get way more hits on my YouTube channel than I do on my blog. I could write all the tutorials that I wanted there. It is not going to get the number of views.
So you can't just create a video and host it on a blog and hope people subscribe to the RSS and get it.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. YouTube is where people are going, so it's just a practical matter.
Jordan, I mean, you're in terms of the YouTube audience, you've got the big one. I mean, can you ever imagine a time when you want to move over to a completely different video platform, and what would that even be?
I tried years ago when YouTube was still younger. When
I remember.
first lost my monetization, I started looking into Blip TV. Blip TV was a slightly more open platform. There were a lot more options in terms of downloads and uploads even. YouTube has the infrastructure. YouTube has the ease of use. YouTube has the mind share. At the end of the day, the computer, the operating system, the browser, the platform of choice, the YouTube, it's a tool. You got to use the ones that are easy to use, that are friendly, and that have other people using them. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot of point. You're going to frustrate yourself. You're going to burn out.
Word. Yeah. With the Richard Stallman example, you were involved with that, Matt, right? So we did a video.
I remember that very clearly.
We did a video with Richard Stallman and a few other folks. Probably, I don't remember. This was last December, November, something like that. And Richard's condition was we not post it on YouTube, so we didn't. So we posted. I'm like, okay, I'll put it up on archive.org because nice and free. We'll put it under Creative Commons on archive.org so people can get it in a whole bunch of different formats. He wanted to make.
And you know what? I missed it because I didn't
know it.
I was going to say I didn't know
it was there either.
Yeah, that is the thing, and it got a couple thousand views. I mean, because it was an interesting time with myself and Richard, Matt, and a couple other cool people. If it had been on YouTube, that video probably, it would have been one of the larger videos on my channel within a couple of months. because of the content and the people involved. But because it wasn't, it just sits over on archive.org, and it's, it's gotten, I don't know, 3,000 to 5,000 views at this point, but that is a tiny fraction of what it probably would have gotten had I put it on YouTube and shoved it into
links
a playlist.
in the description.
I've tried that before. It doesn't work as well as I wish.
It doesn't, and it is.
You got to leave the site. People aren't going to do it.
People aren't. I mean, like a fraction, like 2% of the people are going to do it, and just not enough. And that doesn't even take into consideration the monetization options and various things. And while the monetization of YouTube leaves much to be desired, I mean, I think we all probably have a little bit of an experience with that. The fact that you go over to archive.org, you're not exactly monetizing anything.
No.
It's just a giant repository dump, which is great, but it's very, very sad and frustrating. So all of us, 5 of us, free software kind of guys, well, and Jordan with the MacBook, but otherwise Jordan's toeing the line really well. We still are focused over on the YouTube. Is that wrong of us? I mean this in all seriousness. I agree with everything all of you guys just said. Totally, because I think the exact same way. I need to go where the audience is in order to make a difference, right? I got to get there. It's like, if you want to influence, people of a particular political party, you get your commercials or your interviews on the stations where those people are watching, right? It's the same kind of thing here. If we want to influence people who are just in the general populace, we got to get on YouTube and the like. But on the same token, it does feel a little bit dirty. It does make me feel a little dirty, not because YouTube is some evil, horrible thing, but because I do push that free software ideal so hard in all the rest of the aspects of my life. It does feel like a concession, and I hate that I have to make a concession. I hate it. It drives me a little bit nuts. Am I the only one that feels that? Am I just the weirdo of the bunch? Jordan says yes, definitely the weirdo of the bunch.
Yeah, probably.
Fair. That's fair. Joe and AJ, I mean, do you guys ever stop and go, this is a little bit funky. I don't know if this quite makes sense. It doesn't really jive. You feel it, right?
I do sometimes, yes. I would like, I'd like to be in a world where there wasn't have to deal with EULAs and licenses and all that stuff. But the thing is that if you are going to function in the broader ecosystem that is not just the Linux world, you're going to have to deal with it on some level. So I think it becomes a matter of managing it and saying, okay, I'm going to use this because I have to, but I'm not going to go the extra step, and I'm not going to buy into the 3 or 4 other services they're selling me on top of it. And just that's all. That's how I look at it. You just have to do it.
You just have to do it. You have to take one for the team.
Well, yeah, sometimes you do.
Exactly.
Sometimes you do. Okay. All right, gentlemen. Enough from me. Matt, Joe, AJ, Jordan. Is there anything that the 4 of you just desperately want to talk about? You've got 3 seconds to check.
Nothing coming to mind.
And that's it. Fantastic.
That's it.
No, I do have something I want to say. In the beginning of the video, you asked me. In the beginning of the video, you asked me why I do this. I'm on this show. That's why I wanted to do it.
So now you're done.
This is a goal. No, I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. But I'm sitting here talking to you guys. This is awesome.
That is
cool.
kind of fun, right?
Cool.
You know what? That is actually a really good point. This is a lot of fun. I mean, it wasn't my plan when I got started doing this, but when was the last Southern California Linux Expo? That was end of January, right?
Sure.
Beginning of February, something like that.
Yeah.
So I got to do my little dog and pony show on stage for that. And during that, I had videos in my little show from Richard Stallman and Jim Whitehurst over at Red Hat, and Piers Anthony did one, and Cory Doctorow, and all these people who I admire did little videos with me. And how freaking rad is that? It doesn't make me mega rich. It doesn't make me mega famous. But it's just so neat to be able to have conversations with people who are just the coolest people. And in some cases, some of my heroes. And it's amazing. It's just the coolest thing to get to do this. I mean, my YouTube monetization may not bring me $1 million, but damn if it's not worth it.
Well, I mean, everybody on this channel, everybody in this discussion right now, I've watched your videos. I respect your stuff. I've learned a bunch of stuff from you. And to be asked to be part of this roundtable,
It's fun.
is like, it's great. Thank you.
Right?
You know?
I gotta agree with that. And also for once you get to, I don't know about the rest of you, but for once you get to talk to some like-minded people as far as using Linux.
Yeah.
That does help too.
That does help a lot.
Too.
Yeah.
All right. At the very end of this, now I'm going to divulge just a little bit. Diverge. In this show, we don't have a theme song.
No.
The show opens with me or Matt singing a little ditty. And then we segue into this portion of the show with another little ditty. And until now, we've had no closing theme song. Now, me and Matt, we already sing songs for the other parts of the show, but our guests have never gotten that amazing opportunity to sing the outro theme song for this amazing show. You get to sing whatever you want. Here's how this is going to go. The three of you guys, whichever one chimes in first gets to sing it. I'm going to count to 3 in my head, and then I'm going to pick one of you. And you're going to sing the outro. Go. All 3 of you chickened out? All 3 of you?
I'll do it.
Joe?
I'll do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, singing the outro of Linux and Whatnot, Episode 5, Joe.
Lunduke and Whatnot. What an awesome show.
It's actually just Linux and Whatnot now. We changed the
it's
name of the
Linux
show
and
on
We
it.
totally did, yeah.
It's
No,
totally
that's
You know
fine.
what? And you know what? There's a
Just got
damn
like 10
sign
minutes
on the
ago.
screen that says that. I'm looking at it. Been looking at it for this whole time.
Same here.
You want me to do it again?